Nope.
Spring has sprung, dear listener. Now that we've shaken off the bitter cold of winter, I imagine many of us here in the States will take advantage of the warmer weather by venturing out into the wild and getting closer to nature, myself included. Just make sure your next hiking adventure or camping trip with friends doesn't turn into something out of a horror film. The first step in preventing that is to steer clear of these 10 haunted U.S. forests. Number 1. Old House Woods, Virginia. Located in Diggs, Virginia, a beautiful coastal town, is one of Virginia's most haunted hotspots, which is known as Old House Woods. For more than 200 years, people have reported sightings of green ghost lights, skeletal sword-wielding pirates, spectral British soldiers, headless dogs that will attack your car, a mysterious ghost ship, and a woman who is in all white wailing from the trees during storms. There are also reports of a mysterious fog that appears and just as quickly disappears, as well as headless pirates that come out of the bay searching for their buried treasure. And, as if all that was not enough, there is said to be a time vortex in the woods that has been known to make people disappear and never return. Number 2. Bluff Mountain, Virginia. The saddest of all spirits haunt the area around the Punch Bowl shelter on Bluff Mountain, the ghost of a small child. In the winter of 1891, a 4-year-old boy named Oddie Klein Powell was gathering kindling in the yard of his tiny school when he followed his older brothers deep into the woods that surrounded the building. Scolded by his brothers and told to return to the schoolyard, the child wandered in the wrong direction and was lost. Despite a frantic search of the forest, no trace of little Oddie was found until the following April, when his body was discovered by hunters. It is thought that he died of exposure on the night he was lost. Hikers who take advantage of the Punch Bowl shelter often report seeing or hearing a little boy in the area who disappears just as suddenly as he appears. Number 3. Robinson Woods, Illinois. About half of the 265-acre Robinson Woods once belonged to Alexander Robinson, the chief of several combined American Indian tribes. In 1829, the area's Indian leader, Powhatan, set aside a huge section of the land for Robinson as compensation for his mediation efforts between the natives and the settlers. Robinson lived in Chicago until his death in 1872, signing away huge portions of the land to arriving settlers and attempting to smooth the transition of Chicago from a fort to a growing city. In the early 1900s, the remaining Robinson family continued to be a visible presence in the city. There were many stories about the Robinson house, located in the woods off of Lawrence Avenue. These stories told of wild living and unseemly parties. In spite of their reputation, The family continued to live in the house in the woods until 1955, when the structure was burned to the ground. A short time after the fire, another more horrifying event took place there. In October of 1955, the bodies of John and Anton Schulzer and Robert Peterson were discovered bound and naked in a ditch at the edge of the woods. The case stunned the city and would remain unsolved for almost 40 years. Robinson Woods still remains today, just off of Lawrence Avenue. If you go there and leave the street, walking a short distance, you will see a large stone that serves as a burial monument to Andrew Robinson and his family. It is said that their bodies are buried beneath it. Strange events have been reported here for many years, and first-hand accounts claim the sightings of apparitions that look like Native Americans, odd lights that have been spotted in the woods by passing motorists, sounds of drums beating, and disembodied voices that seem to come out of the air. Investigations have traced reports of people claiming to smell the scent of flowers in the air, even in the winter when no plants or trees are in bloom. Others claim that they feel they are being watched or even followed, only to find that they are in the company of several deer that watch them closely until they leave the premises. A dozen paranormal experiments carried out here in 1974 to 1975 managed to pick up some of the strange sounds that people reported hearing on audio tape. What was recorded sounded exactly like Indian tribal drums. The source of these sounds remain a mystery. Number 4. Kate's Mountain, West Virginia. Kate's Mountain is located in White Sulphur Springs, West Virginia. In the 1700s, a couple came to the mountain, which was still a part of Virginia at the time, in order to build a better life for them and their son. According to local legend, the woman's name was Kate Carpenter, and her husband was Nathan. During this time, attacks on white settlers by the Shawnee and other native tribes were commonplace, and one day, the inevitable attack came on Kate and her family. Kate's husband managed to grab an axe and ordered Kate to grab her son and run. While fleeing through the woods, Kate was overcome by her attackers, and her son was savagely ripped from her hands. Both were scalped, beheaded, and mutilated. A similar fate befell Kate's husband back at their modest cabin. Shortly after the attack, other locals began reporting seeing a headless woman running through the woods. A woman's scream and the cries of a small child were also heard. Even today, odd occurrences are still reported. These include weird lights and an odd humming sound that seems to be associated with people having problems with their car's electrical system. Number 5. Freetown State Forest, Massachusetts. Behind its beautiful, shady paths and sunny clearings, the Freetown Fall River State Forest is actually hiding one incredibly dark reputation. It has long been a hotspot for terrifying real-life occurrences and plenty of rumored supernatural happenings. It is known as the Cursed Forest of Massachusetts, and after learning about the area's history, it's easy to see why. The Freetown State Forest has been the site of numerous documented tragedies and crimes. In November of 1978, the corpse of Mary Lou Aruda was found tied to a tree in the woods. She was a local 15-year-old girl who had been recently abducted from a nearby town 2 months prior. James M. Cater was tried 4 times for the kidnapping and murder of Mary Lou and was eventually convicted. In 1980, police were investigating a murder near the forest. They were approached by a number of locals who claimed to have witnessed a satanic cult performing some type of activity in the woods. Some believe that the reports were connected to the so-called Fall River cult killings that occurred during the same period. Suspicious clearings stained with animal blood were found in the Freetown Forest. The curiously arranged carcasses of cattle were later discovered in the woods, lending more steam to the rumors of ritual sacrifice within the forest. In 1987, a homeless man was somehow mistaken for an undercover police officer and killed in the forest. In 2001, 2 men were found riddled with bullets on Bell Rock Road, which winds through the woods. There have also been reports of numerous assaults reported along the perimeter of the forest and along its shadier paths. Other incidents border on the more bizarre. In 2006, reports of roving and aggressive dogs plagued the area. In the same year, an escaped emu was spotted wandering through the forest and rushing at visitors. As recently as May of 2016, wires were found stretched across frequently traveled paths through the forest. These wires had a violent purpose: to catch off-road motorbike riders across the neck in an attempt to decapitate them. From a paranormal standpoint, the woods have allegedly been the site of blood sacrifices, UFOs, black helicopters, mysterious orbs of light, strange disappearances, giant snakes, poltergeist activities, and of course, plenty of ghosts. Older legends assert that Pukwudgies, which are humanoid creatures from the Wampanoag native tradition, are known to stalk the woods. Many people agree that the forest exudes a dark influence that drives people to suicide. It's easy to believe, given all the darkness and death that land has been home to. Number 6. Randolph Forest, Maine. Known as the smallest town in the state, Randolph Forest, flanked by residences, has a reputation among the locals for being haunted. Abandoned cars and ripped-up railroad tracks that once used to usher veterans to a hospital are the backdrop for reported paranormal activity. During the daytime, the woods seem harmless, but we dare you to venture there when night falls. Witnesses have reported voices calling out to them or screaming at them, and have seen orbs, flashes, and dark shadows. They have even heard footsteps and felt a feeling of dread when passing through. Some say there is a spirit named Bicycle Eddie who may be trying to impart a message about a missing body that has been improperly buried in the depths of the woods. Number 7. Dark Entry Forest, Connecticut. Touted as one of the most renowned haunted places in Connecticut is the allegedly cursed village of Dudleytown. Settlers came to the area around what is now the little quiet town of Cornwall in the mid-18th century, and that includes the first of the Dudleys, who came from England in 1747. They helped create what became a thriving community, known then as Owlsbury, primarily fueled through the region's growing iron industry. Homes were being built, the land was farmed, iron was forged, the town grew and prospered, and for a while, all was well. That fortune didn't last forever. The demise of the town was due to multiple factors: the depletion of the farmland, the decline in the area's iron industry, the younger population heading west to settle new lands, etc. Of course, there are others who simply believed that the Dudley clan was cursed, as an alarming number of Dudleys were believed to face untimely ends. Their curse is believed to have spread to the village that they help establish. Whatever the cause, the Dudleys died off, and the settlement's population continued to dwindle until about the turn of the 20th century. That was when the last resident finally gave up and abandoned what was left of the town. The surrounding forest slowly swallowed up the homes and buildings, and today the only remnants of what had been there are a few crumbling foundations, empty cellars, and of course, the Dudley town curse. Legend has it that anyone who tried to live there, in what is now Dudley Town, has faced terrible misfortune. Over the years, there have been reports of everything from suicides to demonic possessions, and all the hysterical drama in between. The Warrens family famously recorded a Halloween special from Dudley Town in the 1970s, declaring it to be officially demonically possessed. Since then, it has been home to all sorts of alleged paranormal experiences, with visitors witnessing all manner of spirits and phantoms, as well as having unsettled feelings of dread and fear. As you might expect, the area has also drawn the attention of those enthralled by dark forces and demonic rituals, plus a healthy number of amateur ghostbusters and teenagers searching for trouble. In short, it has become a damnation destination. For those of you thinking to pay a visit to Dark Entry Forest, which lies in the midst of Dudley Town, think again. The remains of Dudley Town are now on privately owned property, owned by the Dark Entry Forest Association, who vigorously discourage all visitors. It is heavily patrolled by local and state police, who will not hesitate to arrest and prosecute any trespassers. The question is, why? Why would this organization, with such a sinister name, be interested in protecting this land? This land that has seemingly nothing to offer. Number 8. Elfin Forest, California. One of the most haunted areas in San Diego, Elfin Forest, is said to be the home of several occurrences. The most notorious being that of the White Witch. Many years ago, it is said that a family of 3 were wandering the woods, exploring and enjoying the day. It was a different time, perhaps a more violent time, and it wasn't all that surprising to the locals when the family didn't come back for days. Finally, just as their friends were starting to become concerned, a lone figure came over the hill and then stumbling down. It was the woman of the family, the wife and mother. recognizable even through the dirt and torn clothing. She had a look of pure terror in her eyes. Her husband and son had been murdered, she said. They were gone. A group of men had come out of nowhere and simply attacked. She managed to flee the scene, but everyone she loved were ripped to shreds. The townspeople opened their hearts to her and nursed her back to health. Over time, the fear in her eyes changed, and it was replaced with cold, hard rage. It is said that she eventually turned to the dark arts, studying witchcraft and meeting with local native tribes in order to delve deeper into the powers of dangerous magic. Eventually, she said she was ready. Dressed in all white, she walked into the woods and was never seen again. Nobody at the time knew exactly what she was ready for, but they knew better than to try and stop her. As the years and decades passed, hikers and campers in Elfin Forest reported seeing the ghostly figure of a woman floating through the land. Sometimes she moved impossibly fast, and other times achingly slow. Attempting to speak to her was fruitless, as she would simply vanish. But everyone who encountered her soon packed up and left. The place had just gotten creepy, they said. They didn't feel safe. Stories of a white lady are common in ghost lore, and often appear when a murder or suicide has taken place. It seems that this woman may have become one deliberately, seeking revenge on those who killed her family. Recently, a group called the Mystics of Harmony Grove reported that the White Lady had found her peace and moved on to the next plane. And it's true, the sightings have lessened, but they haven't gone away entirely. Who can say for sure if she's still out there, searching for those who killed her family? What will she do if she finds them? Or what will happen if she targets the wrong people? Number 9. Pine Barrens, New Jersey. Without a doubt, New Jersey's oldest, most enduring, and important pieces of folklore is the tale of the infamous Jersey Devil. For almost 300 years, locals have told tales of this mystical beast that stalks the Pine Barrens and terrorizes those unfortunate enough to cross its path. This legend dates back to 1735, when a resident known as Mother Leeds found herself pregnant for the 13th time. Mother Leeds was not living a wealthy lifestyle by any means. Her husband was a drunk who could barely provide for his wife and 12 children. Reaching the point of absolute rage upon learning of her 13th child, she raised her hands to the heavens and screamed, "Let this one be a devil." Mother Leeds went into labor a few months later. By this time, she had forgotten the curse she had uttered regarding her unborn child. Her children and husband huddled together in one of the rooms of their home, while local midwives gathered to deliver the baby in another. By all accounts, the birth went routinely, and the 13th Leeds child was a seemingly normal and healthy baby boy. However, within minutes of the birth, Mother Leeds' unholy wish began to come to fruition. The baby started to change and transform right before her very eyes. Within moments, it went from a beautiful, newborn baby boy into a hideous creature unlike anything the world had ever seen. The wailing infant began growing at an incredible rate, spawning horns, talon-like claws, decrepit glowing eyes, bat-like wings, and dirty fur. The creature savagely attacked its own mother, killing her, before turning its attention to the rest of the horrified onlookers who witnessed its tempestuous transformation. It flew at them, clawing and biting, voicing unearthly shrieks the entire time. It tore the midwives limb from limb, maiming some and killing others. The monster then made its way to its father and siblings. It attacked them, killing as many as it could. Those who survived to tell the tale watched in horror as the beast sprinted and flew up their chimney, destroying it on the way out. The creature then escaped into the darkness and desolation of the Pine Barrens. It has been there ever since. Even to this day, the creature, known as both the Leeds Devil and the Jersey Devil, has claimed the pines as its own and terrorizes anyone who makes the mistake of entering. The tale of the devil has spread from beyond the Pine Barrens and has been embraced by all of New Jersey, even to the point where it has become largely commercialized. The devil is portrayed in toys, on t-shirts, and is even the subject of its own feature film. Most famously, the devil has lent its name to New Jersey's NHL team. But while some Jerseyans embrace the devil as nothing more than a quaint figment of our collective imagination, a source of unification and pride, and a unique and important piece of New Jersey folk culture, others see it as a very real creature and a threat to their safety. There are plenty of accounts involving skeptical residents who denied the devil's existence, having their minds changed after spending just one moonlit night in the Pine Barrens. One of the legions of encounters goes as follows. I spent a lot of time in the Pine Barrens when I was growing up in New Jersey and had my share of strange experiences. When I was about 13, I went camping alone near Elfin Forest. I had a bow with me and went looking for a rabbit dinner about an hour before sundown. Something started following me back in the trees. It tailed me back to my camp and circled while I cooked my dinner. This kept me up until about 2 hours after dark. And let me tell you, it was a very dark night. I finally decided that my visitor had moved on and crawled into my tent. When I had just started to calm down, I heard a foot stomp down right behind my tent. I got all set to jump out when this thing, whatever it was, started screaming. I would compare the volume of the scream to a large truck's horn. I couldn't decide what to do. I had my bow and my knife, but they didn't seem like much. After several blasts, it just stopped. I didn't hear a sound except from my own heart for about an hour. I was sure that if I stuck my head out of that tent, I'd lose it. In the morning, I couldn't find any tracks in the pine needles. To this day, I don't like sleeping alone in tents. I'd rather take my chances in the open. Number 10. The Devil's Tramping Ground, North Carolina. Located in Chatham County, in the woods near Harper's Crossroads, lies one of the most haunted spots in North Carolina. The Devil's Tramping Ground is a mysterious, perfectly round, and absolutely barren circle about 40 feet in diameter in the pine woods of Chatham County. Absolutely no vegetation, including trees, flowers, or even weeds, can be found within the limits of the circle. Seeds that are planted there refuse to sprout. Any plant life transplanted there will wither and die. And what's even more strange, any object left in the circle before dusk will have been violently moved outside of its bounds by dawn. Animals are terrified of the circle. Dogs tuck their tails between their legs and whimper when they are brought near it. The frightened animal will refuse to be brought in that circle. Men have tried to spend the night in the circle, but not one has succeeded. Some have even lost their sanity. Something they see on their vigils drive them out of their wits, never to recover. The reason could be due to the inspiration of the circle's eerie name. It's said that there is where the devil himself walks at night. In his tramping ground, the devil spends his nights pacing around and around in a circle and turning his bitter mind towards ways to bring human souls to damnation. It's the scorching heat that surrounds him which kills the vegetation and rendered the soil barren. He angrily brushes aside anything left in his path, his great strength easily able to toss aside even the heaviest objects. When he walks in his private spot on earth, the devil drops the illusions which he disguises himself when he appears to men. In his natural state, the face of his fallen angel is so horrible that no man can see it and remain sane. The mystery of the tramping ground has been known since Chatham County was founded. From generation to generation, the story has been passed down, and despite efforts by scientists to explain this barren patch of land, no satisfying explanation has ever been given. Thank you for listening. Remember to hit that like button if you enjoyed this week's video, and if you haven't done so already, subscribe for future content. Let me know in the comments if there's an urban legend that I should tackle next. Stay safe out there. I'll be seeing you in the next video.